Okay. So you see how on Experian it's much different. You look, so you have access to see every single one of his accounts. It'll actually lay out what's his total credit. Just by looking
Damn.
at I know he has a good profile because based on the amount. Now the credit score 707, this credit score is not so fundable. So before I even look at his credit report, I can tell you this. He either has a late payment or he has opened a lot of new accounts in the last, 2 years, or he has some of his credit cards, maxed out or not maxed out with a high balance. Look, his credit usage, 24%. It's not bad, but it's not great. However, over credit, I click on credit overview. It'll tell me more about his report. So you see amount of new credit fair. This means he's been applying for a lot of credit recently. Everything else is very good. Payment history. Oh, and then he has a late payment somewhere. He has one late payment that was recorded in his report for 30 days, and there was another late payment that was 2 days late. Twice. It was late for 2 months, 60 days. So now, exactly what I told you was true. His credit, his credit usage is pretty high. Now I looked at his overall credit usage. I didn't look at his credit cards. He probably has a high balance. So I'll start clicking on one. I'll go one by one. So Lion 17%, American Express 15%, Amex nothing, Bank of America 28%. The rest are just authorized users. PenFed. Okay, this is the one. So you see, I already know there's one credit card where he has a high balance on because they're penalizing him. And another thing I like about Experian is if you hit follow dispute, it'll just it'll lay everything out so neatly and like look, if you click on potentially negative, it'll tell you what's wrong with his credit. And he has one account that has, an account with Chase that could be removed. It was already paid in settlement, so I'm not sure why it's still there. He needs to I mean, I'll dispute this account but I think he's already tried to dispute it. I'll dispute it. And when I funded him, I tried to dispute it. So you can only dispute once online, but if you mail, you can dispute as many times as you want. Over the phone, you can dispute as many times as you want. So the point that I'm trying to get across here, Robert, is when you go on Experian, this is what we call the back office. Okay, when you hit follow dispute, this will give you the most updated information right here. As you can see, date generated. This report is as of today, May 5th. If the customer doesn't have a premium membership with Experian, you won't on the front. You can call this the back door or the back office, whatever you want. But if the customer doesn't have a premium membership with Experian, sometimes you'll get Experian data from like weeks ago, months ago, but the customer doesn't know this. 99% certain the customer does not know this. When you click file a dispute, the back office will actually give you the most up-to-date information, whether or not they're paying for a premium, whether or not they have a premium membership with Experian. So they don't really need to have a premium membership, but it's always recommended because it'll up here in the back office. You can't see his credit score, right? If you want his credit score, you have to go on the front door, and then it'll give you his outdated credit score. Obviously for Gino, this is as of today, but if it was another customer, this is the credit score. But if you look at the date from when this report is, it'll tell you like, oh, as of February 15, 2023. So it's like 2 months old. So you'll tell the customer, oh, I need you to like log in and, to update your membership with Experian. But anyways, going back to credit reports, this is how I go about auditing a credit report. So I look at the credit score. I say, okay, well, he's got a 707 credit score. I want to make sure that this report is as of today, because if it's as of yesterday or 2 days ago, your credit could be higher, it could be lower. Credit scores change every single day, depending on when your credit card statement closes. So now as I scroll down, I'm looking at his year of birth. I'm like, all right, cool. This guy's he's not new. I mean, he's old. And when I say old, not age wise, I'm saying, hey, if he opened his credit card when he was 18 years old, I already know like he should have like years with history. But sometimes I'm surprised, and there's people that are like 30, 35, 30, and they only have one credit card that was open like a year ago. They just started building the credit. Those are the types of people that I don't want to talk to. So here I kind of say, okay, so he's in California. He has an address in New York. So I could say he either lived in New York or he has authorized users. And those accounts that he added himself as an authorized user, the account holders, they live in New York. So
I didn't know that.
Gino, I know that he's not from New York. So this address right here belongs to the rightful owner of the accounts, of which he added himself as an authorized user. The other thing I look at is credit usage. This is fundable 1,000%. So his credit usage is not a problem. Credit limit, oh shit, like I'm like, all right, cool. He's got $96,000 in total credit. He knows the he's not new to credit. He's an experienced borrower. I click on a line credit union, I audit the account. Perfect. This account has been open for more than 2 years, and I just happen to have gotten him this credit card. But I'm just auditing the report as if I didn't know Gino. So American Express, this one was opened, same thing. I opened it for him. So this account is fairly new. It hasn't even been open for a year. So third account, all right. So I can see he hasn't used this account with American Express. I see he has a good relationship with Amex because he has multiple accounts with American Express. Fourth account, this is a charge card. I can tell you this is a charge card because it says credit usage unavailable. Credit charge cards don't give you limits. It's a build your own spend type of account. It's a net 30 account. You have to pay it off in full in 30 days, but your credit limit can fluctuate. One day it could be 2,000, the next day it could be 10,000. Really just depends on how you use it and what your credit score is. I'm not sure if you guys know this or not, but your credit as soon as you get approved for a credit card, the banks have the right to do a soft pull on your credit every single month. Okay, and I'll repeat that again because that's very powerful. The moment you get approved for a credit card, the bank has the right to do a soft pull credit, which they do every single month, once a month. The reason why they do that is because they want to know where you are financially and credit score wise. So let's say Gino, he met this guy named Hector, and Hector, committed fraud against Gino. And then now Gino's credit goes to shit. And then, if let's say I'm Chase and I loaned Gino a $20,000 credit card with Chase. Every single month I'm looking at his credit report and I see how Gino's credit went from an 820 to a 720 to a 620 to a 520. Now I'm like, whoa, what happened here? I look at his report because I have the right to do so because I'm creating a soft pull. A soft pull and a hard pull are two different things. A hard pull impacts your credit score. A soft pull does not impact your credit, and it doesn't go against your credit report. It doesn't get registered on your credit report. It's just a soft pull. So now I have the right, since I'm the lender, I'm the one that if I gave him the line of credit, I have the right to claw it back. But in this case, I go based on the relationship that I've had with Gino. So I'll look at the account like, all right, you know what? Gino hasn't been late on the account, but right now this is too much of a risk for us. His credit score just dropped to 520. Why? He could have lost his job. He could have made an investment that went south and he's about to lose his job. So me as a bank, my job is to protect myself, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower his limit from 20 grand to 10 grand, from 10 grand to 5 grand, from 5 grand to 500. And then eventually, if Gino doesn't get back up, I'll just close the credit card. Every bank is different and it's really at their discretion. Some banks would just pull the credit card, pull the plug and say, hey, F you, I'm out. And they'll just close the credit card. And I'm sure that's happened to, if you've had credit cards in the past, Robert, I'm not sure what your credit history looks like, what your credit score looks like, but that happens. You can go from a $20,000 limit to $5,000, and people will say, why is it that just now when I need them the most? The reason why you need them the most now is because you have fucked up credit and you're in a situation where you need to leverage your credit, and they're not leaving you because they just happen to guess, or or you're having that luck. No, it's just that the banks have the right to pull your credit every single month. So when they see ugly stuff, they get scared. So Bank of America, he has an account with Bank of America. This one was recently opened. So Barclays was open since 2019. Authorized users, I don't really care about the authorized users. Also take a look at the AUs, but I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be, no one will ever add themselves as an authorized user to accounts that are shit. Not unless they don't know, they don't understand the name of the game. But
Right.
so this guy, he added himself as an authorized user, 2 accounts, 3 accounts, 4 accounts, okay, 12 AUs. Cool. So as I scroll down, I'm looking to see how many accounts has he opened in the last. Okay, so note, I see a pattern now. I notice how he's opened accounts in the last 5 years, but also in the last 2 years. So lets me know that he just went through a round of funding, because all those accounts happen to be on the same month or around the same time. So now I'm building the story. I'm like, this guy must have gone through a funding program, because what a coincidence that they all got approved on the same month. Now I'm building the story. I'm not telling him yet, but it's ringing a bell in my head. So I'm like, okay, TBOM, that's for people with, hey Gina, why did you get this account? TBOM, that's usually for people with bad credit.
It was actually my camera system. They forced me to get it. I mean, I didn't want to pay all of it up front, so they just did a loan for me with their account. I can pay it down. They gave it to me
Oh,
because it's for my camera systems on my property.
Security.
Yeah, they just gave me it's actually Vivint, the company. They provide that bank as a Fortiva as a bank. That's what they use.
yeah, Fortiva, they're known to be a predatory lender. They'll give you like the shittiest interest rates. They're just shitty, bro.
Yeah, I just gotta pay it off. I haven't had it.
So so
I
Gina just
just
went through a round of funding. And I know this because I did both, right? What's crazy is, I was gonna tell you, bro, I had opened more accounts for you in 2019, but those are the ones that went to the trash on.
Yeah, it's all the bad ones that went to
Yeah.
crap.
So he
What
had
is
a lot of fucking credit, bro, when I first met him.
I had 20 accounts went to close. I settled 20 accounts, and the only one that was left was Chase, and that's the one that you saw. And I'm still trying to get rid of that one.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, Gino Wooden, he qualifies for a little bit more funding right now. Just because his overall credit age, I'm gonna scroll all the way up, and I'm gonna click on credit. How
Look at my
you?
TransUnion and Equifax. My credit score is way better on the other two. For some
So
reason.
his average age is 7 years and 9 months. Okay, so this is good. His oldest account was 18 years and 8 months. I'm sorry, 18 years and 5 months. His debt to income ratio, according to Experian, which Experian is bullshit, by the way, 328%. I don't take this to heart. I use this tool because monthly payments are $15,000 a month. Monthly income, this is what Experian is showing, that this is monthly income. So check this out. This is how lenders actually, this is the reason why I love Experian. So if I put on an application that Gino makes $20,000, look at his debt to income ratio dropped to 76%. So this is still high for lenders. So what I do is I'm like, all right, cool. So if he makes 20,000 and that puts him at 76%, what if he was to make 50,000? That puts him 30%. Lenders usually want to be like around 30% and below. If you have really, really fucking good credit, like where you have an 800 credit score and your debt to income ratio is still like 67%, they'll still approve you. Because somehow, because your credit score speaks for yourself. Now, here's the thing though. If you see here, many lenders prefer to see a ratio of 35% or lower. So if we put that he makes $50,000 based on his monthly payments. His monthly payments are 15 grand. That's including his mortgages, right, Gino? So his income would have to on a credit applications would have to be somewhere in the vicinity of 50 grand. The problem, Robert, is proof of income. Gino does have proof of income, but it's not a problem. Because I'm gonna share with you a little trick. So commercial banks don't care about your proof of income. American Express, they don't care. Bank of America, if you have a relationship with them, they don't care. They don't verify. It's not that they don't care. They don't verify. That's the proper word. That's the proper way to word it. Citibank, Chase, Wells Fargo, U.S. Bank, none of them verify the income. If you have no relationship with them, for example, Bank of America, these fuckers will 4506 CU. It wasn't like that 2 years ago. When I met Gino, these fuckers were just giving approvals after approvals after approvals. Something happened where they started to like say, if you have a relationship with them, my recommendation, and keep this in mind because this is really powerful, have the customer log into their Bank of America account. A lot of the times, don't expect them to do it in front of you because nobody wants to show you how much money they have. Okay, they don't know if you're going to hack their information or you're going to take a screenshot of their information. They don't know anything. So it's just better that you stop sharing the screen and tell them, hey, for your protection and your privacy and your peace of mind, just go ahead and stop sharing the screen. I need you to log into Bank of America, and where you see on the top right hand corner where you see product and services, do me a favor, click that. And where you see apply for credit cards, hit apply for credit cards, and then you apply for the cashback rewards credit card. It's a red card. It's got 0% for the first 15 months. Go click on that link, and then it'll autofill everything for them already because they're already a member and they've already signed in. This feature it'll only allow you to do it if you hit sign in and then you apply for the credit card. All the information will be autofilled. Now, the chances of them getting approved, again, depending on the credit score, if they have a good credit score, 90 plus, there's a 90% probability that they get approved. But if they just apply for the credit card, even though without signing in, even though they do have a relationship with Bank of America, they'll ask Bank of America, depending on their proof of income, depending on what income they put on the application, they'll ask for proof of income. So it's just like a little.
That's a hack.
It's a little hack to the trade,
Yeah.
So, and then if they don't have a relationship with them, even if they make 200 grand, bro, I'd rather make 1% of something than 100% of nothing. So if the customer makes $150,000 a year on the application, if they don't have a relationship with Bank of America, I'm not going to put them make 150 grand because I already know they're going to ask for proof of income. And it takes 7 days for them to receive the letter in the mail. Now they have to go on the IRS website, fill out this forms, but it's just too much work. The customer at this point just says, fuck it, I want it, So just income from $80,000 to $90,000, and they'll still give them something, a decent amount, 5 to 10 grand. It could be a little more, it could be a little less, but let's just say 5 to 10 grand. If they get approved for 2 credit cards with Bank of America for 10 grand, that's 20,000. If you guys are charging 6%, that's let's say 10% at least, because 6% is no. 10%, that's 10% of 20 grand, that's $2,000. That's a customer per week. Let's say you guys get a customer per week, that's $8,000 a month, $96,000 a year. So the power of just being able to scrap that extra 10 grand, 20 grand, so powerful. Anyways, Experian, I like it because it shows you, it gives you all these access to these tools, these like underwriting tools that people don't even know they're underwriting tools, but me as one, I know. So his credit usage, 24%. This is his overall credit usage, by the way. And then low estimated debt to income. I saw that. I can kind of like see his historical chart here. I see that he had a bunch of debt back in a lot of credit card debt in like December 2022. And then if I scroll up, if I want to know more about this person, I go on Score Tracker, and it will give me like a historical chart of what his credit score used to be. So here, back in 2020, his credit score his credit score dropped to a 539, and this was in August 13th. So now I know, hey, Gino, did you go through some credit repair program? Did you go through some debt consolidating, services? Gino doesn't know that I'm doing all this research, by the way, but he feels confident that I can help him when I come back to him and tell him, hey, Gino, I know that you went through credit repair through a credit repair program. I know that you went through a debt consolidating program. I know you went through financial hardship. What happened? Now, remember, now that you know more about the customer is more willing to share with you more information. It's just like with a friend. When you befriend the customer through the screen, now the customer is more prone to say, you know what, I'll move forward with you because you just happen to know my story better than someone else. So that's the reason why building rapport is so important. It's just like a friend. Your best friend knows your secrets. He knows the good, the bad, and the ugly about you, and you trust them. In this case, when I'm able to audit someone's credit report to this degree, a normal credit repair company or funding company would not go, through all of this shit. But we get closer to the customer because we're building rapport. I know that he went through a bad investment. I know that he had excellent credit. So it tells me, fuck, Gino had an 811 credit score.
Damn. That's pretty good.
So now I'm like, fuck, Gino, what happened, bro, back in 2019? Oh, well, you know what? I met this guy named Hector. He fucked me up. He fucked me over. I'm like, right, Gino, you now met someone like me. I'm not here to do that. What we want to do is we want to help you get the maximum funding so you can back on your feet and you go back into the real estate field, buy, fix, and flip properties. Now we have a plan of action. Check this out. So I'm not done auditing the credit report. I'm still checking to see if he has any assets. Yeah, but Experian is the main lender that banks use to like pull credit. But look, check this out. So here I see that he has a few mortgages. See that he has multiple properties, and then personal loans. He got Digital Federal Credit Union back.
Those are all solar loans. That's the only personal loan right there. I got it with PenFed, which you remember.
Yeah,
that's a good loan.
Yeah, it looks like PenFed's been good to you.
Yeah, I take care of them.
So look, they
saved my life.
Don't do this. Don't self-report your accounts. This is the worst thing you can do. Bro.
Oh, okay.
Really? Why?
They do it for two reasons. When you're going through a credit repair process, it's easy for them to verify that you weren't a victim of fraud or identity theft, depending on how you depending on your approach. When you go for credit repair, if you're disputing, they're gonna say, bro, we have they have access to all your information. It's easy for them to verify it. They say they don't use this to complete their investigation, but they do. There's been studies already.
I can remove all of it.
Yeah, to all of them, bro.
Okay.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I would never have known that.
Well, that they remove they look at it as a way to audit you.
Now look, I see that you tried applying for a business loan because Funbox is business lender.
I got approved.
For how much?
21.5.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah, it's on the Marvel. It's a business account though.
Yeah, it's a business account. Citibank, Best Buy.
I got approved. Yeah, Citibank okay. I have approved.
Chase, you applied. You got denied for this for sure.
Sure, yeah.
Randolph Brooks. I think
that was a car application. I think.
Did you get approved?
No.
SoFi Bank.
That one.
So we could write all these down and we could call and get them removed, right?
Yeah, all these. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I didn't get approved to any of those. We can remove any of those. All those.
Yeah. So let's check this out. There's another way I can check something regarding Gino, to see like if he went through a credit repair process or not. I click on Dispute Center. This is my favorite part. So,
oh, cool.
I can check what's been deleted from his credit report, addresses. So I see here that this phone number 646-932-6919 was deleted. This was never his phone number. This was probably someone who was an authorized user to one of the credit cards. He probably added someone as an authorized user to some of his credit cards, or vice versa. The person whose account he had in himself as an authorized user, this was their phone number. I see this NA new in country, California address was deleted. American Express. I can see here that there's inquiries that were deleted from American Express. And if I keep scrolling more and more, I'll see account. This account was updated. Maybe actually fuck. Back to the dispute center. So I could kind of just like we look at this. I can see that he's removed a lot of inquiries, and it also shows me what accounts on his credit report. Oh, State Farm right here. This is the auto loan. It got deleted. State Farm. This was actually an inquiry. So it tells you right here inquiry. I'll show you what an account looks like. So now I have a much better profile as to who Gino is. Just by looking at his report, I can say, hey, this guy, he's a business owner. He tried building a business. He failed. At some point, he had it like dialed in. But something happened. I don't know what happened. If Gino wasn't a friend, if I didn't know him personally, this is a story I would be making about him. So he's definitely not new to credit. He knows how to leverage his credit because he got it to 811. You got to be responsible. Then something happened in his life where everything went to shit. What? I don't know. That he went through a credit repair program or he went through a debt consolidating program. I see a lot of accounts deleted. I see a lot of inquiries deleted. And then he's a serial entrepreneur. So look, this is account. This is an account. This was updated. He probably tried removing this account. If I click on view details, it'll tell me before. Look, it tells me this account was charged off. So he stopped making payments on it around 2020. If all of the other accounts that I studied, he defaulted on around 2020, something happened. At least that's what I'm saying in my head. Now let me look at the outcome. So they didn't delete this account on this date. I know it's already deleted, but it was deleted after 04/27/2021, somewhere around here. Got deleted because I already looked at his credit report and I see nothing. So I go to that extent, guys. I just like to know more about the customer. Again, building rapport. Now I get on a phone call with Gino. Hey Gino, do you have a minute? Awesome, bro. So listen, I was looking at your credit report and I see that you at one point had a 811 credit score, which is awesome because almost no one gets to the 800 club. And I see you did. At some point you had over 50 accounts open, but I see something happened like 12 months from when you got the credit cards, like sometime around October 2020, or maybe the beginning of 2020. Like what happened? He's like, oh, well, this happened. Like I met this guy. So now I'm like, okay, now I know what he fears. I'm starting to know more about Gino, right? And then I find common ground. That's super, super important. I find common ground with the customer. Hey, you know what? Something similar happened to me like that. And this is what I'm trying to sell him. I mean, at this point, Gino's already, he was already, if we get to this point, he's already a customer. But if I'm trying to sell him on trade lines, this is really good for if you do your research. Everybody wants to feel like you've done your research. When you jump into a podcast, Robert, you're not gonna have someone in your podcast who nothing about, someone who nothing about. You're gonna know his name. You're gonna do some research, and that makes the guest feel welcomed, right?
Right.
So anyways, yeah, this is how I audit the credit report based on Gino's credit report and credit score and the amount of inquiries he has and the amount of accounts he's opened in the last 2 years. I know for sure he's over the 5 and 24. It's very tough to get this guy credit at this point because he has $96,000. He has a lot of mortgages, just so you know. They're good and bad at the same time. They're good for you if you're trying to build generational wealth. Super important as a business owner. You get to write these off, but it's a problem when you want to get loans because they see this as debt. These are investment properties, and one of them is probably his primary residence. But as a lender, I'm like, fuck, if shit hits the fan, these all become liabilities, right? Because he's asking for personal lending. On a business, lenders want to give you more loans on top of the loans you already have to kind of like keep the show going because it's for business purposes. They're making money on it just gets underwritten way different. So in this case, Gino has a lot of debt. If he was to try and apply for a credit card, he would get denied. And let me tell you why. Let's see how many accounts he has in the last 2 years. I know it's American Express. 1, 2, 3, 4. Credit settlements for people with pet credit. 5, 6. Okay, he has a total of 6 plus his personal loans. He's got 6, 7. So he's got 7 new accounts that were open in the last 2 years. Actually, not even the last 2 years, the last 12 months. So this is a big no-no for the banks, right? Now, if I didn't know Gino, I would say, bro, why didn't you apply with the commercial banks like Bank of America, Chase, City, Wells, US Bank? But now that I know Gino, and I did my homework and I audited his report, I see that he doesn't have a good relationship with Chase, with Bank of America, Bank of America he does, with Wells Fargo, Citibank, US Bank, all these banks he settled debts with, and that's not good. Anytime you settle an account with the bank, it means that you weren't able to uphold your, withhold your you weren't able to uphold your responsibilities, right? And that makes you not a not credible borrower, because you had to settle, you had to ask for a settlement. Yes, you have a good credit score. Yes, those accounts were removed from your credit report, but they were not removed from their internal system. Bank of America will always have that information pertaining Gino. Chase will always have that information pertaining Gino for 7 years. After 70 years, the bureaus give you a clean slate. If they're bad, they'll delete them from your credit report, except late payments, collections, charge-offs, and bankruptcies. They'll release you after 7 years. Late payments will stay on your credit forever, not unless you remove them through some credit repair way, or you reach out to the bank and ask them for a courtesy, a one-time courtesy. But if it's been a long time, they won't do it. It's really hard. So just based on Gino, I could tell you, like, if I was to fund him, if I was, trying to like sell Gino on my service, I know for a fact I wouldn't be able to get a lot of funding, but I might be able to get him like 30 to 50 grand, 30 to 50 grand. But my play would be this, not commercial banks, it would be credit unions. And there's a shit ton of credit unions, 30 to 50 grand. Now, if there's 10 credit unions in California, because remember, not only because he's a California resident means he automatically gets approved he can apply for every single credit union. Credit unions are exclusive. Some credit unions will only lend to borrowers that live in a certain zip code, county, city, you name it. Or they work for specific employers. So if I can somehow find those banks, based on my experience, I can tell Gino, hey, I could probably get you 30 to 50 grand. If I submit like 10, 15 applications, most of them are going to get denied. But those 3 banks that actually give us approvals, I might be able to like finesse like 10, 15 grand a piece, 15. That puts you at 45,000, So, but I wouldn't take on Gino as a customer. If I didn't know Gino personally, I would not take on Gino as a customer, because I'm like, bro, there's not enough meat on the bone. He's a good customer. But what I would, because if Gino had, instead of a 707, he had a 787, obviously I want to keep the doors open with someone like Gino, right? If it was like a customer relationship type of thing. Another thing I would do is, there's a really good bank, guys. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of them, but this bank, I know your other customer, you said he has a mortgage, but with some Avon will actually give you they'll give you a loan. What's your phone number? They'll give you a HELOC on a credit card. We're not going to get it for Gino, but I just want to kind of like go through the process. Gino, what's your phone number?